like this. Put a hat on. Oh my god. I know what I'm gonna do.
I'm not doing that.
Hey, Yarny peeps. Welcome to On the Lamb podcast. I'm NalediS.
I'm Timu.
This is a knitty place. No, yarny place. We don't just knit, we crochet. And actually, we don't just do yarny stuff anymore either, because Timu is now dabbling into some sewing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're going to show that today. We're from Southernish, Ontario. And I don't remember what else we say for our, Ontario, Canada. I don't remember anything else that we normally say because we're so, like, when's the last time we even, was it 3 weeks ago now that we did a recording?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's like starting for the first time all over again. Yeah. We just wanted to pop on. We don't have a lot of time because Timu's boys are on their last week of summer vacation. So they're home with her today. They were home last week too. And so we didn't do a podcast last week. And they're going to interrupt. So we're going to do this really fast. But we just wanted to come in and say, hey, don't forget about us.
Okay, we're leaving now.
What's that?
I said we just wanted to come in and say, hey, okay, we're leaving now.
Yeah, basically. Show this, and we gotta go.
Okay, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing probably my last for a while, Adventure on the Wrong Side, that I knit up for Timu with a bunch of mini cakes by Lolo Did It, which was really fun to work up. And then I realized, oh, when you bind off, you have all these wonderful ends to weave in, because for every color change, there are 2 ends to weave in. And there were like 10 to 12 different mini cakes, mini balls, whatever. Mini skeins, whatever you say, minis?
Yeah.
So that's what I did yesterday. It was like, oh, I have like barely anything else to show right now because we're working on a project. So I'm like, I gotta weave in these ends. Cried while I did it. What are you wearing?
I am wearing a mostly finished test knit for, hold on, I got 3, 2, 1, I put this down. A mostly finished test knit for Jenny F of Sweater Freak Knits.
Just needs to be blocked and ends woven in, right?
Pardon me?
Just needs to be blocked and ends woven in.
Yeah, I was going to block it earlier this week, but the last few times I've tried to block something, I've put it in the water and left it for, an extended period of time, and colors have bled like mad. So
got a little fear going on.
Seriously, I'm like gun shy. So I have to block it when I know for sure I can come back to it a couple of times and like try to just block it long enough to get the water to soak all the way through, but not leave it for an extended period. And there's nothing wrong with blocking knits for an extended period. It's just when you're working with either something like highly variegated with a lot of contrast or multiple colors. And the problem was things with multiple, like using 2 or 3 different colorways, that certain colorways are bleeding onto other ones. That it ends up being a problem. In this one, it probably wouldn't be a problem. It's so highly variegated, like even if it did bleed, other than if it bled so much that like all the white ended up colored. But it's like the chances of that are probably pretty slim, but I'm still just like paranoid. So, and I want to love this and wear it.
It's like a tiny swatch and then see how it behaves in the water.
Seems like a lot of effort.
Well,
because even when I block swatches, like even when I do finally, like the odd time that I do actually swatch, I'll like I won't even soak it. Like I'll bind it off and like hold it in my hand and just like smoosh the water into it. And that's all I do. Like I never really soak them like I would truly soak a knit.
In this case, it would be to like it would just be a swatch to see how the colors behave together is what I'm talking about. Well,
not gonna happen.
We'll live life on the wild side.
As I said, I will just block it when I know that I'll be able to wring it out in 15 or so minutes and check on it in the middle. I'll probably be able to do it later on today.
Or just soak a tiny corner of it.
all theoretically good ideas. I'm not going to do them. Anyway, so yeah, so the yarns, as I have mentioned in the past, are both, I striped together 2 different bases of the same color by Casual Fashion Queen. The color is called Moonchild. So I striped, I think I've showed in a past, maybe the last episode or the one before that, I had 2 different bases. One is 100% superwash and one is merino nylon.
Come from the other side.
What?
Like do the other shoulder. Yeah.
So you can see I used the merino nylon in the middle because I figured it was a lighter one, so it would be more drapey, and then the thicker one ended up like landing on these kind of ridges. So it would just, it's kind of like, has like a fuzzy feel on the outside, but I think it still has like a bit of drapiness, which is good. I knit the largest size. I'll have a project page and everything. The pattern should be coming out, I believe, tomorrow. So I will repost when I see that announcement. Yeah, and then I'll hopefully have we took some pictures this weekend, but I'll have some better pictures. Hopefully, I don't know, the next time we're actually together, maybe we'll have a minute to take a half decent picture.
Next time we're together is on the 10th.
10th?
Do that boy's hair.
Oh, yeah. Well, not that time. I mean, the next time you're at my house.
Okay.
Are you going to stay at no, you're just going to drive there, right?
It's an hour. It'd be farther to drive to your house than
I know. I don't know where I was thinking. I wasn't thinking where it was. I was just thinking, like, you're not going to be here. I mean, the next time you're at my house. So later in September, I'll probably be able to get, unless I can do it myself, I'll wait till then to get some good FO pictures. But yeah, it was a really interesting knit, a really different construction from other stuff that I've made. Personally, I'm really glad that I knit the largest size because what I anticipated was true in that it's kind of a shrug-ish kind of wear. So it doesn't have a lot of front coverage the way that it has a lot of back coverage. And I don't know why, but that's not my favorite kind of garment. Like I like the look of them on other people, but then I always feel like, because I have a larger bust, anything that's like very shrug-ish, I always feel like really, it doesn't fall like on my boobs, it falls like around my boobs. And I feel like it just feels like this little frame is created and then I feel very exposed. So I was like, I need to be able to do this when I'm waiting for my kids to come out of school or whatever, or to pin it if I want to, like, so it's like I have enough. I knit the largest size, so I have enough that I could actually put like a little shawl pin or like a little one of those jewel design like leather toggle things here or something. But even when I just leave it, it still provides coverage as opposed to ending up like very brainy. Busty girls understand what I'm saying.
I know, it's just funny because you were like, I don't want to be exposed, but then you stood with like this beautiful picture.
Well, I feel like it gives the like, you have to, if you're not busty, then you might not understand what I mean. Like,
I'm not very busty, but
like,
I understand
that problem of things falling. You know, it's like the same as like necklaces that come down a certain length.
Yeah.
You know, don't fall the same way on somebody who has a large chest as they do on other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that is my big FO. Really, I was very kind of head down trying to finish that because it had a deadline. What is your WIP? Work in podcast. I like those colors.
I forgot about that. Market makes. So Market makes. That's basically all that I'm doing right now the last several weeks. So that leads into like what Tem and I have been working on. Tamu?
What?
The words are with you. You talk about it.
Like the force. So we talked about this maybe, I don't know, a while ago. This conversation between NalediS and I started quite a while ago.
You meant like on the podcast.
No,
yeah.
Just between you and I started a while ago about like, would we want to try to do a little bit of production knitting, maybe just for like the winter / holiday season, and try to do like a sale or a show or something like that to sell some stuff, because obviously we both like to make, we both like to knit all the time, but realistically, like you can only wear so much stuff. Mm-hmm. I love my children, but I'm not probably going to invest a lot of time in knitting a sweater for 2 super rambunctious, rough and tumble kind of boys anytime soon. So I'm like, and my husband runs very hot, so I can't knit for him. Like, you know, like, so there's just like limited a number of people in my life who can wear the things that I make, and I can only wear so many things at a time. So we're like, okay, let's see, maybe we could use this as a way to earn a little bit of money to buy more yarn. So just worked out, I guess, this year. We weren't really moving forward on it. We were kind of like, you know, stalled on it a bit, just because it's so hard to decide, like, if it's a good idea, if it's worth the investment, because you have to invest a lot of time and money up front to see if it's going to work. And that's a bit challenging in the positions that we're both in right now. Like, we don't have a lot of money to invest in.
No money.
No. So the opportunity came up that my sister-in-law is opening a physical shop to basically do just that, sell handmade, locally made things made by various artisans, like a consignment shop type model, which are, I don't know wherever you are if those are a thing, but more and more those things are available around here, because like there are lots of sellers who sell on Etsy and stuff around us, but sometimes you want to see things in person. You want to try things on. You want to be able to like actually physically touch them, see what the colors actually look like in real life. So it is a nice model for that way. It's kind of like shopping on Etsy. Obviously you have a limited number of shops to look in, but you know, you get to see them all in one place. And then for the sellers, for us, it's nice because I don't physically have to be there to sell stuff. I don't have to stand there for, you know, a whole day to see if anybody's going to come and buy. She's going to be there manning the shop. So yeah, so we're working on some things for that. One thing I'm going to be doing is sending along some of my shawls and things that I've made in the past that I'm not really wearing to add to the shop. And then we're both working on knitwear basically for the family, like, you know, the easy stuff in terms of like, it's an easy decision to make the investment, but mostly like hats, mitts, baby socks.
I love this one.
Yeah, so these are adult mittens, hats that NalediS made, and we're using a lot of colorways. Like something like this is theoretically repeatable, but a lot of our other ones, they're basically going to be all one of a kind, because we're using up, I had opal advent calendars with all the little mini balls. I, of course, don't do that. So if they're colorways that opal creates, these are like little 15-gram balls that come in the opal advent calendars. And this is kind of when as soon as I saw them, this was exactly, I was like, I could make Franken socks for me, but I'm like, I feel like a lot of them pair up well to do like 2 or 3 together, and 2 or 3 together is like perfect for little kid sized like socks or hats and stuff like that. So they're just like so perfect. Like these ones are my favorite, I think, right now. So a lot of like one of a kind, a little bit mismatched, a little quirky, just like us. Super cute little makes. Could you come up the stairs louder, please? And that was my littlest one. Yeah, so I'm just started working on some little baby mittens to go with this, but like thumbless ones. Because I'm like, infant-sized mittens should not have thumbs. It makes no sense. Even like,
they're so cute if you can get their thumb in there somehow.
It's so cute, but it's frustrating because I
actually would somehow just sit there and like put it on. My other kids, it was like not until last year that Morgan could finally figure out. Yeah. Like at some point I was just like, just put them on. I don't know. Yeah. Don't even try.
Like the only reason, like when they got to an age where they were like moving around by themselves, like walking in the snow by themselves, then I was like, you gotta put your thumb in so you can actually pick stuff up if you want to pick it up. But before that, I was like, why do they even have thumbs? Because they would always be empty. Like, yeah, I would try, and then it would just be like this floppy, like it looks like they just have no thumbs. So I'm like, no. So for these ones specifically, this hat is infant sized, and I have 2 little nuggets left, so I'm making infant sized. Where did I put the bag? Oh. Yeah, I feel like you showed a hat that looked almost like this hat that I made. Like it had the same colors.
I showed a hat that looked like that.
Yeah. Like not exactly the same, but it was like similar colors. Oh, is that the purples you put in? I think you used, no, the other one in your hand.
The only hats I have right now.
Yeah, that one, the other one in your hand. I feel like it reminds me of the colors in this one. That's what I was saying.
I feel like it's just because the strip of like the black and white.
I find this very fascinating. I'm like, I don't think I've ever bought a whole ball of opal sock yarn.
Yeah,
like
you did.
patterning. What?
Yeah, you gave it to me.
Oh yeah, that was from a D-stash though, like not like from a store. But either way, I was just like, does all opal self-patterning sock yarn, someone tell me, do they all actually have like this black and white stripe in it? Because this was made with
some of these don't.
3 different balls, and every single one had that in it. And I'm like, it makes it look like it all is supposed to go together. But this was actually 3 different of these mini balls that all had this black and white.
The rainbow socks I did. Do you know?
Yeah. I know there are some that don't, but I just find it fascinating that so many colorways appear to. Like when they have no other black and white in the colorway whatsoever, and then just randomly have this little like black and white speck. So again, it's like it ties them all together in this very interesting fashion.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by the advent calendar you got. I'm like, did they just do like these random skeins and make them all into like little mini balls just for fun, or is it like?
My guess is it's their real colorways that like maybe they have like an odd amount left of stuff, so they just put them together, or they have like a lot left before they discontinue that colorway for a year or something, like, you know what I mean? Like I think they are their real colorways, but I find it fascinating either way.
It is fascinating.
Fascinating because they are so small, and I bought 2, and then
one can't be, because it's just like this random, like it didn't even make it all the way around this tiny little hat, but there's like, it's a purple and blue skein basically, and then they have this like black and white stripe, but then this other stripe, it's green, white and green. I'm just thinking like it must be like their oopsies or something that they're using.
Either way, they're interesting and they're fun for this. I can't really imagine what else I personally would use them for, but they are perfect for this and quite fun. And then for adult size stuff, I think for the most part we're going to use Mineville Wool Project yarn, because I like that it's Canadian, and yeah, that it's all really interesting. I really like the way that they dye. So yeah. So
I just showed my other whip because it goes with what we're already talking about. It's okay. I wasn't sure if I should move on. Stuff in all kinds of bags right now. Anyway, so this is with the Mineville wool, doing a market make using the Cozy Up Knits. What is that? Oh, Joe's Perfect Sock Slippers or something like that.
Slipper sock?
Yeah, designed by Jamie from Cozy Up Knits. There's my end. Anyway, so I've got one din. And it fits really well and it feels really good. I'm not really a slipper sock kind of person. I'm like, yeah, I can see wearing this, like throwing these on. So I think I'll at the end make a pair for myself.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, I like this color too.
Mm-hmm.
The second one there.
Yeah, I didn't, when I bought it in the ball, like some of the colors I bought, because I was like, someone else will like this, but not because I thought, ooh, I really like this.
Right.
But then seeing it I really like how it pooled. So I'm like, oh, I actually kind of like that one.
Yeah. Especially on the top with the pattern. I really like that.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Anyway, so yeah, so we are using that pattern as well for foot coverage.
So thank you to Jamie for letting us use this as a design for our market makes.
Yeah.
It's Jamie. I like your pattern. Okay. What's your whip with a capital P?
I have 2 main ones.
I'm not wrong in this. There has to be like some way to delineate the difference between a work in progress and a work in podcast. Your big P whip. That's right. What's your big P whip?
My big P whip is my shrug cape thing by
purple.
What?
Looks very dark purple.
Well, I don't have my lights on and it's really gray outside.
Yeah.
In reality, so I think I talked about this before. I have recently recast on because gauge wise, I don't know, I'm sure it's just my yarn versus her yarn, but gauge wise, my gauge was like way off. So I knit a chunk of this pattern. It's a like kind of a shrug cape thing by Caitlin F. French. Oh, it's like a mosquito bite under my bra strap. It's so itchy all of a sudden. Yeah, so I'm test knitting it for Caitlin F. French. And what? Oh, my first one. So I cast on, I actually swatched 3 times with 3 different needle sizes. So I did like the size she suggested, then I went down, then I went down again. Then I was like, this fabric is getting too dense. So whatever, I settled on whatever size I was going to knit, started knitting. And then I was looking, she has like a private Facebook group for her test knitters, and somebody else was commenting on how their gauge was off and theirs was like way wide. So I was like, maybe I should measure how, because I was just following like the numbers. So I was like, maybe I should measure how wide this is. I was like, so I was knitting the smallest width. She has like 2 widths and 2 lengths. So I was going for the smallest width, but the longest length. Mm-hmm. My width was like almost 4 inches wider than the largest width. So I was like, that's not going to work. Like, I'm totally going to run out of yarn. It's going to end up like a bra top because it's going to be so wide that I'm going to have no yarn to finish the length. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. So, and I was like, and if I keep going down needle sizes to try and get my gauge closer to her gauge, it's going to end up being so dense that it's going to feel like I'm wearing a cardboard like costume. I'm like, this is not going to work. So I asked her if it was cool to just use the needle size to get a nice fabric and then use the measurements instead of the numbers as my guideline. So it'll look the same. You won't really be able to tell. I'll use the width measurement instead of her cast on number of stitches across. So I have a recast on. I'm very close.
Yes.
Pardon?
Said yes.
Yeah. She said that was fine.
But other people are getting gauge then.
Well, I'm not really sure. Like, I haven't seen everybody's post because it's a Facebook like thread. Sometimes the posts are kind of like, one person commenting about their thing and then a post about something totally different. So it's hard to kind of sometimes put it all together. I find it hard because I don't check it every day. But I don't know. I think her original one is 2 strands of fingering weight held together, or what she says is fingering weight, but they must be like a heavy fingering because she was like 2 strands of this held together or a bulky weight yarn. I'm like, but the gauge to me kind of reads like a worsted gauge, not a bulky gauge.
Right.
So I'm not really sure. Whereas like this yarn is definitely a bulky yarn. Like, so I don't know. It's so hard. Like, I just find like gauge and stuff like that such a tricky thing to describe because I'm like, I can't shop for yarn using gauge. You have to kind of tell me like a weight to aim for. But based on on her gauge, I feel like I probably would have got closer to gauge using a worsted weight rather than a bulky weight, like with the needle size and everything. Anyways, so my yarn is Brooklyn Tweed Quarry. Where did it take? Quarry, I'm pretty sure is the in the hematite colorway. So it's kind of like a black base with like red yarn like spun into it. So it's like in some lights it looks very burgundy, purpley. In some lights you can really just see, like some lights it looks very dark, some lights it looks very red. I kind of like that. There's like some spots where like the red flecks are bigger, so you really see
that.
That
is like a crystal too, isn't it? Like it's like a lot of things work, but with crystals depends on the
Yeah. So I like it. I think it'll be a really nice piece when it's done. I just have to get knitting on. I just find this yarn is like a little bit, I don't know that I've worked with a yarn quite like this before. So they, on the back of their label, they kind of describe the yarns in a little bit more detail. And it's like very softly spun. Like it's almost like working with like 3 thin bits of roving, like really gently spun together. So it's kind of delicate, like even frogging it. I totally broke the yarn trying to frog it when I got down to the cast on. because it's just like so, like I think it'll be fine once it's in a garment, but it's just in the process of knitting with it. It's like delicate, but also it has a lot of kind of grabbiness to it. So it's like it takes a bit to get into a rhythm. And I think my arms were already tired from trying to like buckle down and knit on this. So it's like, I'm happy to be working with a heavier weight, but it's like, I can feel that it's a little bit more effort for my hands to move the yarn and the needles and stuff. So whatever. I don't think I'll make the deadline because of the recasting on especially, but I will be happy to have the finished item when it's done. So I will keep working on it. Any other whips besides your market stuff? Let's say like active whips, like, or something that you really want to show.
I could show progress on the Beguiled, but I haven't worked on it. Like I actually, I'll just show it really quick. No, I showed you, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I won't worry about it then. Keep going, because right now this is good, and you probably have other stuff to show too.
Yeah, I have another.
Oh, I got an FO. Got another FO.
I do?
No, I do. I totally could have given these to you when you were at my house.
Oh, man.
Yeah, totally forgot about it. I had them in my other bin. Doesn't it look so funny?
It's not like I've been wearing a lot of socks, so it's not like I'm missing them.
No, it's true. And yeah, I'll just put them in my dread bag, my dread supplies bag to bring to you in the 10th. Anyway, so this is a pair of Regia. Perfect socks. That's it. Thank you. And I did just tubes and then put little afterthoughts in after. For Tamu. That's it.
Sweet. I think the colorway, if anyone's looking for them, it's called Moor, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they didn't have names.
I don't know. When I bought them, wherever they bought them from, they called it Moor.
Right.
I don't know why. I just always remembered that one. So I also have another test knit that I'm working on. A sweater. So excited.
Where do you envision market makes in all these test knits, Tamu?
I'm working on the Lil Mittens. This I knit in 2 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because it's so bulky.
Yeah. Do you like the color?
Pardon?
Now that you're knitting it up.
Other than the fact that I keep getting little neon pink bits, like yesterday I was wearing like more athletic wear kind of capris, and then I went to go out of the house and I was like, oh man, like I kind of looked like I was attacked by a muppet or something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the exact same.
Neon pink bits all over me. Yeah, so this will be a sweater. I don't want to say too much more about it because when you see the final project, it will be pretty epic. But, basically, it'll be a long sleeve, long-ish in the body sweater. It's a test knit for, I can't think of her real name. I want to say, I'm going to get it wrong. She's that Metzbauer girl on Instagram, but I can't think of her real name. We'll put it on in the bottom or whatever. Anyways, yeah, so that's due at the end of September, so I have a little bit of time. But as I said, that's like the back. It's like, I think it's like a construction similar to kind of Carbeth, where you kind of like knit the bottom and then the sleeves and then attach it all together. So that's like the back, bottom of the back. And then I have to do the bottom of the front.
I was trying to picture the Carbeth, how I did it again. I was like, wow. I
could be wrong. Maybe the Carbeth was opposite. Maybe it
was bottom up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you do
the body, then the sleeves, then you attach it in one big thing and finish it at the collar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's similar in that, yeah, you do like a back panel, a front panel, sleeves, and then attach it and finish it up to here, I think. Anyways, because it's so bulky and that yarn. So the yarn is, I just had the label. The yarn is this. It's Paint Box. They're wool mix. So it's 50-50 wool and acrylic. And I mostly got that. It's not, I don't buy a lot of acrylic now unless I'm like maybe gift knitting and I need it for like a little kid or something like that. I don't buy a lot of acrylic for myself, but her original sample was mostly acrylic with a little bit of wool, or her whatever listed yarn was that. And so I was like, oh, if I want it to be similar, I probably shouldn't go all wool. And cost wise, this yarn was on sale. I think in total, 10 balls were like under $50. Like it was like $30.
Balls?
Yeah, because they're only
right.
109 yards, and it's going to sit like below my butt. Well, hopefully. I have a longer torso than a lot of people, so I don't know if it'll be quite that long, but yeah. So like 10 balls, I think was like, yeah, between $30 and $45 or something like that. So I'm like, yeah, for a neon pink sweater, I would pay $45. Yeah. So that's my other whip. And then I have lots of other things on needles, but not that I'm actually working on. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Yes, right.
So bad.
It's fun. You spun that into.
It's just messy looking.
Spun that into.
It's hard. Honestly, it's like, I didn't realize I had this problem until recently. I have a bit of a hard time learning new things apparently, because everything else I've been doing for so long that even when I need to learn something new for that thing, the learning curve is very small, because it's like you're just building on existing skills. Whereas like I took on this summer, I took on two essentially completely new skill sets, and both of them, it's like there's just parts of the learning curve where I'm like having trouble accepting that like I'm new to this and I will have to start at the beginning, versus like I'm adding on to existing skills and I'm essentially starting in the middle, you know? Yeah. So spinning wise, I finally caught an update of the electric eel wheel mini. So it's this teeny wee spinning wheel. You can see how small it is. And these are like the teeny little bobbins that fit on it. So the company that makes these is called Dreaming Robots. I guess they did a Kickstarter a long time ago for their first electric eel wheel. Then they came out with the miniature version, which they also, I think, did a Kickstarter for. And now you have to kind of go on their website and sign up for like the email updates when more are available, because they make them all themselves. And then you just get an email. And it's like, you got to get in there right away or you're going to miss it. So the first time I think that I actually saw the update email on the day that it came out, it's like I missed it by like 3 hours, and of course they were gone. And then this time it was like the email came in and I just happened to be right beside my phone, and I was like, I gotta do it. So like $70 US. So like in total, I think about 120 bucks Canadian, which is like, for an electric wheel, that's very inexpensive. And I mean, for me, it's like you could spin real yarn on this. Lots of people do. And if you go on like the hashtag EEW mini on Instagram, you can totally see like other people who are experienced spinners spinning great looking yarn on it. So it's not like, you know, it seems child sized and a little bit play, but you can use it for real. But for me, it was like a good low investment entry into spinning. I have tried drop spindle, which is also a really great low investment entry into spinning. But again, I think my challenge with spindle spinning is that there's an extra element of technique to it. So this is electric, it spins itself. So all I really have to worry about is controlling the yarn going into it. I mean, there's a little bit of like controlling the speed of the wheel and the tension and stuff like that. But when you're drop spindling, you have to generate the spin and control the thing. And I'm like, I don't know why. It's too many things to think about and figure out all at once. And then I get frustrated easily because I just want it to work, not to try and figure out all of these things. So I either need to go to someone to get some like live lessons and like go back to them a few times until I feel like I have like a good base of understanding to continue on my own, or just keep going with the electric wheel.
Go with the electric one.
Yeah, though so far the electric one I feel like is working for me. Like, I mean, it's definitely not perfect. I can see in some
Nothing ever starts perfect.
No, I know, but that's what I mean is like the first little bit, it was like hard for me to get that like right, I'm going to have to like figure out how to control the yarn going in and, you know, not over twisting it, but not under twisting it. And like all these little bits that I was just like, oh man, there's so many things to figure out. But because I feel like I can see results more quickly, you know, it's kind of like someone learning to knit or crochet for the first time. Like you can get them started with bulky yarn so they actually can see progress really fast. It's more satisfying than like drop spindling. It was like, I couldn't even generate enough twists sometimes to get anything wound onto the shaft. That I'm just like, no, I give up. Anyway, so the fiber that I'm playing with right now is from Boho Chic when she was selling off her spinning stuff. It's merino wool and Angelina for the sparkle. So I obviously started with the green ones and then I'll go on to the yellow ones. I don't know why, just because. It's not really colors that are my favorite, but she had them on sale when she was getting rid of stuff. So I just grabbed them up because I was like, well, maybe those will be easier to spin from. I also have like a large bag of fiber that's like Luette fiber, I think, that I picked up at Shall We Knit like ages ago. But I feel like it's going to take a little bit more, I have to do a little bit more prep with it. Whereas these are poonies, they're called. They're like little rope poonies.
Poonies?
Poonis?
Oh.
Poonis. So they're kind of like semi-prepped already. Like I still have to draft them. I still have to like pull the fiber and make some more space in it, but they're just a little bit more compact, a little bit more ready to go. So it makes it a little bit easier. I can kind of like, okay, I'll just spin this one thing of fiber and then I can stop versus like having to do a lot of prep and get it all set up and then whatever. So
I just loved that I saw the picture of your wheel or the wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the bag of poonies. And I was like, oh, look at what Temu did. I thought that was
oh, yeah.
thought was like, wow.
These are not what you create.
Super bulky yarn you spun.
What was that? Hold on. Small mishap. Anyways, yeah. So I'm trying not to like go overboard buying all the fiber because I have a large yarn stash and I really don't need to invest in too much more supplies, especially when I don't know for sure that it's going to be like a full-on thing like knitting.
I feel like doing the spinning and like trying out other things, it slows you down.
What do you mean?
You could just keep knitting like large volumes, but like learning something new, it like slows you down a little bit. And if you were to get your own like fiber bag of fleece,
yeah.
What do you say? Fiber? And then work it up and you do like spin your own yarn and then you do your project. Yeah. Like, you know.
Well, that's what I mean is like I have fiber. So I know this. I have another bag that I had ordered at the same time as this that's like, it's very red, white, and blue. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. I have like that big bag of Luette, which will take me quite a long time probably to get through. I have some silk hankies that I had ordered at one point because I thought either I would try to knit directly from them, but now I might try to spin them. That Rachel Mack Designs or whatever it was, Rachel Mack Textiles or something. When we did fiber share, I had mentioned something about how I would like to learn how to spin because I was at that point trying to experiment with my drop spindle and stuff. So she had sent me art. I don't know if you call it an art bat. I don't really know all the terms, but a bat of yarn. So like a big round of fiber that's like very like pinks and oranges and has some white and some stellina in it. And she also sent me, which was interesting, she also sent me mohair or like the mohair silk blend because she said, I can't remember. I have to go back and find her email, but I think she said, or her card or something. I think she said for plying or for spinning, you like use it at the same time because it's very grabby. So it can help you like kind of control the fiber more. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I have ordered some fiber. So that's what I mean.
I was validating you and saying, like, keep going because it's good.
I just don't want to like get ahead of myself where it's like I have a giant fiber stash and I can't figure out how to, like, I don't go any further with the spinning, and now
Yeah.
I'm like, all this fiber, I can't, because I can't really use it for anything else, you know?
I
Like,
feel like if you make it all the way through what you already have,
yeah.
you could invest in some more.
Yeah. Well, as I mean, I have some on the way already. So
Right.
like, I need to like not order anymore. Because I ordered more, because I really was looking for more like these, because I'm like, these I find very easy to use. Like, again, because it's like all self-contained. I just take out one, I draft it out, I use it. So I did find this like UK company. Oh, so one thing I was doing, because I was trying to figure out, I'm like, I don't even know who like sells fiber, because a lot of the places where I get yarn and independent dyers where I get yarn don't sell fiber. So I was like just kind of searching around through like Amy Florence of Stranded Dye Works, because I know she spins. So I was kind of going through her feed and seeing who she had tagged and, you know, mentioned fiber from. So I was kind of going to some of hers, which all hers are UK. So it's not like the best for me maybe, but I did go on Alternate Universe, which is a UK company, and they had one set left, I think, or two sets left of Coonies that were from like salvaged fiber, like from a mill.
Oh, okay.
So, like, they're really like interesting and unique, and they have like little like blobbies in them and stuff. And I was like, all right, I gotta have those, because I mean they weren't super expensive. So I think like even coming from the UK and exchange and all that, they were like $24 or something like that. But like they're very interesting. So I'm like, okay, like that'll be fun, you know, like, and it's like things that'll keep me interested, like in trying, because I see the fiber and I'm like, I want to see what that becomes. Like I want to see how that turns into yarn, or what the yarn looks like. So that's keeping my interest. And then after I found that fiber, then somehow I found this other maker, I think it's like Siobhan Crafts or something like that. She was doing a little Instagram auction, which was kind of sweet. She made like an auction feed to auction off, or I guess she had just done this in the past because she had other like past auctions. You could see pictures of stuff there, but this particular auction she was doing to help raise some money to give to her brother who's going off to university.
Nice.
I was like, oh, that's sweet. And I guess he's been helping her with her business. Like he was helping her with shipping and stuff like that, like over the summer or something like that. So she was like, you know, as a way to say thank you, because I didn't really pay him or whatever. She's like, I thought I would do this, like kind of de-stash some stuff, but in an auction type format, so I can give him a little bit of money to help him with school. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So I ended up purchasing 2 bats that way. They haven't come yet, but I'll show you when they come. And then last one, and I'm like, okay, no more.
I'd love to know how much she raised for him. Like, I'd love to know. $200, a couple thousand? I don't know.
Oh, she only had maybe like 6 or 8 bats there.
Oh.
So it was like a huge amount, but
yeah.
Either way, it's just like the idea that's nice, you know, to me.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, I got to de-stash this and make a few bucks. It's like, I'm doing this to help someone else. Yeah, so I got, Koigu had their tent sale last weekend, I think, or the weekend before, I think, which I didn't go. And one of these days, I'm going to save up my pennies. I'm going to go to the tent sale. I'm like, but I always feel like it's like I know it's coming, but then it's also sort of sneaks up and we always have something else planned. Anyways, this time they had fiber. And so whatever's left over after the tent sale weekend, then they do like an online tent sale, so you can order stuff on their website. So this was one of the things that I ordered, was a braid of fiber.
One of the things. I got that.
Oh, you can't just get one thing. Like, you gotta like use the mailman's time effectively. Anyways, I thought these were kind of nice colors.
Interesting. I literally can. Roxy gave me like a $10 gift, and I went and I bought 1 skein of yarn. $10.
That's very good stuff.
Like, that's not what we really wanted you to do.
No, totally. And then sometimes I can do that when I truly don't have any interest in anything else, but it's like they had lots of other stuff that I was interested in that I was like, okay, don't go crazy. Don't go nuts. But sometimes, like, especially with their like sales or their tent sales or whatever, like Koigu specifically, I mean, I totally get why their stuff costs what it costs. It's not like hugely astronomically priced, but because their skeins are smaller, you need more to do like a bigger project. Like a lot of their skeins, they're like fingering weight skeins are like 50 grams. So it's like, you know, it's like, oh, it's only $12, but I'm like, well, actually I need 2 at least to do something decent. So I'm like, well, that's a bit more. Did I bring the other thing up? Oh, maybe I didn't even bring it up. I bought, one thing they often have in their sales that I've bought before, not with the intention of making whatever it is, but is like they'll have kits. So they'll have like 2 skeins or 3 skeins that coordinate, and then a pattern will come with it. So it's like you can buy, but they'll have them in the sale and they'll be like very, very reasonably priced. So I think it was like maybe $24 for 2 lace weight skeins that went together kind of nice. One's like a brownie mix and one's like a tealy mix. I think the pattern that came with it was like called like the NalediS cowl. I don't know. But either way, I'm not going to use it for that. I'm going to use it for something else. But I just thought, oh, those are nice. Yeah. That's all for the spinning. Sewing, I don't really feel like I have anything to show. Did I show the little porter pouch? The like black.
You need to go get it. You need to go get it.
Oh, I'm assuming most people have heard of, but I guess if you're not in the sewing world and you're not oddly obsessed with fabric despite your lack of sewing skills, maybe you wouldn't have heard of, there's a company called Spoonflower, where people can, if you're an illustrator, designer, whatever, you can go and upload your designs and they will print it onto fabric. And they have actually quite a I've been on Spoonflower, like just as an admirer, basically, for a long time. And in the time that I've been following them, they've really increased the selection of fabric types that you can get. So there's quite a few now. But as a consumer, I can go on and shop the fabric options or the design options that other people have created. Mm-hmm. So, and I know like some other people like Jody of Mrs. Brown's Bags / Grocery Girls, she has mentioned that that's where she orders her fabric from. She just doesn't release her patterns for other people to buy. So you can keep them like private or you can make them public. If you go seriously public options though, there are tons, like infinite numbers of designs for almost everything you can ever imagine printed on fabric. Like if you're like floral, search floral, thousands of results will come up. It's cool because you can get stuff that like you wouldn't find in a store necessarily because these independent designers just sell through there or sell through their own shops. So then Spoonflower came up with this. So there are some things that you can order on there that are called like cut and sew. So it's like you order a yard and it comes kind of like printed so that you could cut out like the shape of a doll and all of its pieces and then sew it all together yourself. And then Spoonflower came out with another company called Sprout. I think it's called Sprout Patterns. We'll put a link, where they kind of take that cut and sew idea a little bit further. So what you can do is like they have certain patterns that are available for everything from like garments to accessories. And then any of the designs that Spoonflower has available, you can match up with those patterns. And then they print all of that onto the fabric. So you know for sure you've ordered the exact right amount for your size and whatever. And then when it comes, it's like this was all one long piece of fabric where it was like this pattern printed on one section with like a black line to show me where to cut. Then this pattern printed on another section, but all one piece of fabric with a black line to show me where to cut. And then the back. And I picked these 3. I picked them all from one designer. I can't remember her name, but I just was looking for like black and white. Because at one point I thought, well, maybe I'll color it with like fabric markers and add my own color to like really personalize it. But I kind of love it just black and white. So the pattern is by Grain Line Studios. And I think the whole package of designs that they make, because you can buy just the patterns separately through them and lots of other places. I think it's called like the Porter Travel something. So they have like a duffel bag pattern, a DOP kit, so like one of those square boxy bags, and then this little, or maybe this is the porter pouch. I don't know. I'll put more details down below. Anyways, so I had ordered this. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember how long I'd had this. Again, I go in and out of my sewing dreams. I had ordered this in like 2016 because I really wanted to make it. like, not even lunchtime, babes. Daddy won't be home till close to supper. We go through this a lot throughout the day. The whole like being home for the summer thing is hard to understand, that we're home, but Daddy will still be home at like his usual time, despite the fact that everybody else is home. Anyways, yeah, I think this is called the Porter Pouch. Yeah, so I think I'd ordered it in like 2016 or something like that. Finally put it together, I don't even know, maybe a month ago. It was so easy. I'm like, why did I not just do this sooner? Because what you get when you order from Sprout is like the panel of fabric that has your designs that you've picked out on it, and then a PDF of the whole pattern. It actually had like the duffel, the dop, and this all together in there, like the instructions kind of part. So you could put it all together. So it was really easy. And I even put a zipper in without a zipper foot. Not lined, which is fine with me. And that's where I'm housing my tiny little market makes. My little wee mitten. Anyways, I was quite proud of that. It's like a nice, like heavy canvas. I really like it. I really like it, and I almost went and ordered to like make some more, and I was like, no, don't do it yet, because I have other stuff I want to make. Yeah. And then I ordered more fabric because I wanted to do more paper piecing, because like now that I understand that paper piecing is ridiculous. Apparently there's like Amazon offcuts stuck to the bag. Yeesh. Yeah, paper piecing is way easier than what I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it was so complicated before, but so I went to
I feel like it's like people do this in general. Oh my gosh, there's been so many things like I-cord bind off, Icelandic bind off that I was like, I don't want to do this project because I don't want to have to get to the bind off part, and then you do it and you're like, what the heck was I whining about?
Well, and I think I scared myself off of English paper piecing because I had such a hard time with my sewing machine sewing. Because it was like it would be like I'd sew something like really easy that's like just basically straight lines, and then I'd get overconfident and be like, oh, now I can like make up my own design out of thin air without actually like measuring or making a template or testing out this theory, and then I totally mess it up and be like, oh, now I can't sew. So it's like, like a pendulum would go both directions. So then I like scared myself away from trying English paper piecing because I figured like, oh, it's probably harder than I think it is, and it's going to be too much for me. And then I never looked up, like I should have just looked up videos of it to see. Anyways. So yeah, after trying that little kit with all the little hexagons, I was like, oh my gosh, this is dead easy. Like, I mean, there are little nuances to it, like there are with everything else, like a little bit of like planning and thought goes into it ahead of time, but it's not hard. You just have to think a little bit for a minute. And then once you have all your stuff planned out, then it's just putting it all together, that part is, in my opinion, dead easy. So I had ordered a fat quarter bundle of Tula Pink. I can't remember what it's actually called. I don't know if it's just called Spots and Stripes. I don't know. I think it's not there. Tula Pink little fat quarter bundle from Clinton Modern Creative. They're Canadian. They're out west somewhere, I think. Anyway, so what I have planned is I'm going to use larger hexagons but cut them in half, so they're like rhombuses. Is that right? I always mix up rhombuses and trapezoids. Anyways.
Yeah.
Half hexies is what other people call them. So I'm going to like mix and match these into some little triangular.
I think a rhombus is like that.
I think that's a trapezoid. I think a trapezoid is like a square that you tipped over. You got two, because it's like a parallelogram. Yeah, the two parallel lines. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The point is maybe mix and matching these different patterns. I can't see that.
Trapezoid. Yeah, you're right.
Trapezoid is like a triangle with its head cut off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's half hexagon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that what you said?
No, I was thinking it was a rhombus.
Yeah.
So rhombus, the other one, a square that you tipped over.
Rhombus is like that.
Yeah.
I only actually remember that because we have those like this shapes thing that we play with.
Yeah.
Like all the names in the bottom. But I wasn't confident. And just so you know, I'm going on the rope.
It's not right unless you're first every single time.
Oh, okay.
Siblings. Anyways, so I'm going to mix and match these into some little kind of pouchy things, all paper pieced pretty much. English paper piece, so hand sewn, not quilting paper piecing, which is a machine sewing technique. And then I had these other little fabrics that I ordered because I had seen other people make bags and stuff out of them, and I don't know why, I just thought they were so cute.
It's really
cute. I think they were on sale when I ordered them too, so I was like, I don't feel too bad about them.
That's cute.
And of course, because the color is called flamingo. Sorry about my jacked up nails.
It's like, oh.
Flamingo pink little X's all over it. I thought this would be good as like a lining fabric.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Anyways, yeah.
Put it with the roller skates.
You know, just stock it up on supplies.
Yeah, I know. You're like me.
These ones I had these ones for a while. This is not like new, but
this is what I do at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's not the same money investment, but I can leave the dollar store with like $100 receipt.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, sometimes it is the same dollar investment. The only thing with the dollar store is, if it's supplies, that's one thing, but it's like
crap,
stuff, like toys and stuff that I'm like, why did I even buy that? Because you know it's gonna be broken before the end of the day or whatever. All right, and then in other haul news.
Republic of Wool?
Yeah. I had been eyeing this seriously. It's like every time she had an update, I just go and visit the update. I'm like, no intentions of buying anything. And I've been looking at this one, the picture of it, for so long. The colorway is called Chipped, and it's on her worsted base. And I just kept going back and looking at the picture, and then the last time that I went, looked at the picture, it was on sale. And I was like, all right, I guess it's telling me I need to buy this. So I bought 3 skeins because I want to do another, I think I want to make another abalone. It's like different colors, obviously. So the main body will be mostly this. And then I think I'm going to use my retro from Tanis.
Oh, right.
And this color from Hedgehog Fibers is called Pesto. So it's like mostly white with like a lot of similar kind of teals, speckles in it and stuff. I don't know if I can really show them together well, but because I feel like the retro has a little bit of like neon, greeny, yellowy specks in it that kind of pick up in here. And then this has tealy speckles that pick up in here. So like, I don't know if it'll work, but in my head, I feel like it.
I kind of trust you because you always put stuff together that makes sense. But right now, looking at those, I can't.
It looks weird in person too, but it's like, because this also has like brownie, like darker speckles. So I feel like if the body is like pretty well mostly this, or this with like this striped into it a little bit, like maybe not necessarily like every other row, but like do like a chunk with this and then like a little stripe of this and a chunk of this and a little stripe of this. And then on the edge, go like mostly retro and pesto. Like when you're doing that like garter border around.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see if that's what ends up happening. Either that or something else, like some kind of like fade situation. I don't know.
Still, I don't know. I think because there's like the gray in the retro.
Mm-hmm.
Gray.
I don't know. We'll see.
I trust you.
Gray goes with everything though.
It's true.
I don't know. Either way, this was the new acquisition. The pesto's been in my stash for quite a while. And this we talked about a while ago.
You only had 1 pesto?
Yeah, I only have 1 pesto.
Did you get 1 or 2 retros?
2 retro.
Yeah. What was I going to do with mine?
I don't know.
I don't think I knew. Some sort of a jumper, maybe? A jumper?
The other thing I thought is I had another color in my stash. Big or something like that. That kind of also picks up those like darker autumny colors that are in the chipped colorway. So I might maybe go darker instead of going lighter, brighter, but I don't know. Add it to my pile of future sweaters. And then the other thing that just came, so one, a mini skein tonal set from Hue Loco. They're like mystery sets. Hold on, crinkling. I've like eyed these on her site a few times and just never like bit the bullet, but she has like a section with her minis, or sets. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But where you can order like a tonal mini set, but it's a mystery. You have no idea what's gonna come. And I like first opened it, I was it's kind of ugly, but like I kind of love it at the same time. Like something about it's very like retro 70s kitchen vibe.
It's the same colors almost as the Zephyr. What was that one?
Zephyr?
Cotton will blend. Yarn. Ugh. I did an adventure on the wrong side of it. The cotton will blend, same.
Yeah, I can't think of what that.
But it's like those tones actually are the same.
If you saw it in person, it's a little bit different than that because this is like.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's like the hues of it are in the same
family
range. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a neon yellow and like a dusty pink. Like they all.
Oh, that you're like saying that the tones are all in the same. They're in the same kind of family that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works. I feel.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, that's at first I was like individually, the only colors I would probably pick myself would be like these two. And like these
gotta have someone else pick, the weird
colors that I would ever pick. But then seeing them all together, I was like, they kind of work. Like I could kind of see using them all together as something. So who knows if they will be. And then this was what I was really aiming for. Her newest color, Riot. Like her fall colorways. It's like a mini skein of all her fall colorways right now. Oh my gosh. I don't want to open it because it's like just going to be a big mess of minis, but I just love them so much. But just like the range, the way that she has them like lined up in like her pictures and stuff, like the way that they kind of transition from one color to the next is just gorgeous. So I think I might end up using them to do another of the scrappy shawl.
So I figured you were gonna say.
Because I have a colorway also from Hue Loco, that road trip colorway. That's like very like tonal browns and stuff. Like it's kind of light, but it's like very browny. And I feel like this all together, it would make like a really great fall palette shawl. So we'll see for sure. I don't know for sure. I just love it. I was like, it finally came in the mail because I don't think I got like a shipping notification on that one. So it kind of surprised me in the mailbox. And I was like, oh yeah, it came. Because it was like a pre-order for the minis. I was like, I want to cast on right now. And I'm like, I can't. I have too many test knits I have to finish. I think that's it.
That's all. Yay! It worked! And a couple interruptions. That was not bad at all.
Yeah.
And it's not a super crazy long episode.
Yeah.
I won't be there. I won't be editing this till midnight.
You need the pressure of the kids home every time.
Yes. Thank you, boys. All right. Well, when are we going to podcast again? Next week?
Yeah, probably.
You want to week off because just to get like back in the swing of school?
Yeah, we'll figure it out closer to.
All right. I like to plan, but okay.
Huh?
I like to plan, but okay.
I think I have something next week. I can't remember what, but we'll figure it out. right there.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for popping in.
Yep. Enjoy your last week. If you're a person with young children, enjoy the last week of summer vacation. So maybe we'll see you next week. Time we can get our act together. Or maybe we'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm just teasing you. I don't really
I feel bad about it. I'm like, well, the thing is, like, I probably won't have much to talk about next week. Anyways.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Kids home and then
Time to go.
and then getting ready for school. Like, it's not. And Miles is off on the Tuesday, so it's like not even like I have Tuesday as a break.
Oh, okay.
It's best case stuff. So, all right.
Okay. Yarn on, people.
Yarn on.
Craft on. Maybe you're just a sewer. Maybe you are a sewer.
Rock on.
Rock on, people. Bye.
Bye.